к совершенству. Сеть автозаправочных комплексов нового поколения. Совершенное качество. Совершенная мощность для вашего автомобиля. Газ Energy. Совершенная энергия.
Боровое. Заповедный край северного Казахстана. Синие горы, чистые леса, родниковые озера рождают природную, живую воду Туран. Вода заповедного края.
Современный мир развивается стремительными темпами. Впереди оказывается тот, кто способен предлагать инновационные решения. Транстелеком предлагает инновационные решения в сфере автоматизации, цифровизации и системной интеграции в области IT, связи, автоматики и энергетики. Транстелеком – это полный комплекс телеком и IT-услуг. Опыт реализации уникальных проектов в сфере промышленной автоматизации. Самая протяженная ВОЗ в Казахстане, объединяющая в единую сеть все крупные города и села. Транстелеком. Приведем казахстанцев к цифровому благосостоянию.
Since the dawn of time, we have been fascinated by the land beyond the horizon. We have roamed in search of something new, and every traveler has imagined their ideal travel style. Imagine your travel style. What will it be like for you?
Welcome to Kazakhstan.
Welcome to Kazakhstan.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm David Mirikatani. Welcome to the 2019 World Championships from Kazakhstan. We're here in the Track Wrestling Studio presented by Defense Soap. I'll be with you for the next 9 days. The first 3 days, it's my pleasure to be joined by the legend, my good friend, the world champion, the Olympic silver medalist, Dennis Hall.
Great to be here.
It's going to be awesome, man. Get to talk about Greco.
Looking forward to see it.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So, 4 weight classes today. What we're going to do here in the next 15 minutes is just kind of get you guys ready for that. And, Dennis, you've wrestled at this level. You've won it. You've medaled. And you've coached a lot of guys. What are the guys going through right now mentally as they're getting ready?
Right now, hopefully, they got a great warm-up in, and they just go out there and they get physical right away. Don't wait for the match to come to you. Take the match to your opponent. Believe in yourself. Tell yourself all your positive affirmations and go out there and have a good time. Don't put pressure on yourself. Go out there and have fun.
The hay's in the barn. Time to just let it
Exactly.
loose, right?
For sure.
Well, let's get started with the first weight. We've got 55 kilograms, 121 pounds. For America, it's going to be Max Nowery. For this weight class for years has been Spencer Mango. And, you know, Max has made his first world team, training up at the Illinois Training Center with Brian Medlin. You're a guy really familiar with Max. What's he done to make the jump?
You know, I think the big thing is he's healthy right now. He's been battling some injuries in the past few years. You know, he's at a spot in his career where he's ready to take charge and get after a medal, hopefully, this year.
He wrestled really well in Final X, you know, really controlled things, did a great job. And we'll take a quick look at the bracket here. He is going to be in the top half of the bracket, Dennis, and he's going to wrestle Schmidt from Germany, which is in the round of 16. He got a bye from the round of 32 to 16. Schmidt is not ranked in the top 10 in the world, so it's about as good a draw as you can expect when you're going to a tournament like this. I think you told me off air that they've split, right?
Yeah, they've wrestled before. He beat him one time, so he actually beat him okay in that match, and so it's a winnable match for him. He's just got to go out there and get after him right away. Don't feel him out, get him tired, and impose your will. And
Dennis Hall and I did some Greco backstage on who was going to have to pronounce all the hard names, and shockingly I lost. So I'm going to take a run at this. Assuming that Nowery gets by Schmidt, he'll have the number 6 ranked guy in the world from Algeria, Abdel Karim Fergat. And one of the things that people should understand at all these weight classes is a couple things. Number one, the top 6 guys in the world here qualify their country for the Olympics, not themselves, their country, like what happened with Tony Ramos and Daniel Dennis. And then the second thing is that the 2 finalists, only the guys that lost to the finalists get to wrestle back for bronze and for those top 5 spots. So hopefully Nowery makes the finals, but if he were to lose, or any of our Americans were to lose,
we're going to cheer for the guy that they lost to.
Right. But if you look, and we'll get into the bracket once it starts more, but Nowery's in pretty good shape. You know, the top half of the bracket, the only other top 10 guy in the world is the number 1 ranked guy from Azerbaijan.
It's definitely doable to have a good tournament for him. Hopefully he's just got a great warm-up and is ready to go soon.
Absolutely. And for those of you guys that are going to get the track cast, we're going to show you how to do that in a minute. He's going to be on mat A, bout 11. Next weight class that's being wrestled today is 63 kilograms, about 138.5 pounds. And what we have there for America is Ryan Mango. It's a guy I'm really familiar with, and you are too. He's a St. Louis boy. His brother Spencer, like we talked about. Yeah. These guys have no explosive ability at all, do they?
Not at all.
So you know you're familiar with Ryan. He's at a weight class, you know, where I know those weight classes have changed over the years, but where you did a lot of your damage. So besides the normal things of him just going out there and taking it to it, his match at Final X, he did a lot of damage when he was able to get the parterre position.
And that's going to be the key for all Americans is parterre, offensive and defensively. If we can score offensively, that's huge. You know, the foreigners have such great defense, so it's a little bit tougher. And defensively, if we give up points, it's going to be tough to win those matches. So hopefully these guys got their parterre game going today.
We heard Ellis Coleman specifically talk about that at Final X, how a lot of the, and you talked to me about off air, and I definitely want to get into this later, about the importance of hand fighting and being persistent with it, working your angles, and not just, if it doesn't work right away, giving up. But ultimately, if 2 guys are really good at that, it's probably going to come down to who can lift and gut wrench, right?
Exactly, for sure. I mean, a lot of the matches these days are determined by parterre.
So Mango does have a pigtail match. He's in the bottom quarter of the bracket. He's got Correa from Portugal, and if he were to win that match, he would then have Belici from Turkey, who's ranked number 10 in the world. And if the seeds were to hold, he would have the number 2 ranked wrestler in the world, 2-0 from China. So clearly not as easy of a draw as Mango or as Nowery on paper. But you said it earlier, if you're going to win, you got to win.
If you're going to win, you're going to beat them all anyway. So.
Right, for sure. But, you know, this is like you said, his warm-up, he's going to be 6 on A. He's actually going to go ahead of Nowery because he has one of the round of 32 matches. And we're going to set you guys up here on the Scramble Cam. But when we start live here in about 10 minutes, we want to make sure you guys are watching. And there's 3 different ways you can watch. For $29.95, you can watch this tournament, the World Championships. You can go to Track Wrestling and do that. For $49.99, it's only $20 more. You can get not only this tournament, but the U23s, and then everything from basically January of 18 to the end of this year.
Which is a good deal. I'd use it as a coach so you can just watch for technique and at the World Championship tournaments and just use it to make your room better.
Yep. Tell me a little bit more about that, Dennis. Like, like if you see somebody doing a lift maybe a little bit differently, or pummeling a different way, or maybe like in freestyle, like a leg attack or finish.
Yeah. You know, for me, when I was competing, we had VHS tapes.
We're actually, I'm like 6 months older than you, Dennis, so I know what it's like.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. I mean, I remember
real.
buying an old type video camera and having to rewind it, play it, rewind it, play it, rewind it, play it until I saw what I needed to see. And, you know, with the way technology is these days, it makes it a lot easier.
Well, and the thing that I think maybe some people are not understanding is this is literally the best technique in the entire world.
It's what works against the best guys.
Right. So $50 is a steal.
Steal. I mean, you can't get. You buy one technique video for $40 or I don't even know what they go for these days, but.
Well, what if one technique that allowed you to become a state champion or become a national champion, especially if you're in high school, because that state championship, how many dollars does that convert into for scholarship money? Exactly, right? Yep. And then the third way is the Gold Plus membership, and you have access to over 422,000 videos. You're going to have all the stuff that we've already listed, plus everything that's archived, and that's normally $129.99, but if they use the passcode SCRAMBLE, then it's going to be $99.99, which if you talk about $49.99 being a steal, this is like...
This is a great deal.
It's like taking the cookies and the milk, right?
Yep.
So make sure you guys get that, and you can also, you get to listen to Dennis Hall for 3 days. I mean, I got the best seat in the house. I get to pick your brain, and I don't have to pay to do it. So let's jump over to 72 kilograms. And this is... this is a story that's kind of near and dear to my heart. Raymond Bunker, I coached in junior college for a long time, and he's a junior college guy. Came over from Harper in Chicago, and he's in the bracket in the top half, but he does not have the world champion right away. He's got Yogesh from India, who hasn't medaled in any of the UWW events he's been in. If he gets by Yogesh, then he'd probably have the #1 seed from Bulgaria. So realistically, he'd be a huge underdog in that match.
And the Bulgarian's good. He's really good in parterre. So if I was Bunker, if he gets past his first opponent, I'd get after him on the feet, get him tired, and Bunker's good on his feet. So I think that is a good matchup.
He's got to win that first match, though.
Got to win the first match.
For sure, right? So and he's going to be bout 7 on mat C. And like we said, he's in the top half of the bracket. Just for people to get an idea, only the 1 and 4 ranked guys in the world are up there, where 2, 3, 7, and 9 are in the bottom half, and we'll get into a little bit more of that as the matches unfold. The last weight class that's being contested today, and I guess we should take a minute and really explain this to people, that there's going to be 4 Greco weights today, 3 tomorrow, and then 3 the next day. I'm not sure, depending on, I'm not even sure what day we're in right now. I think it's still 11:50 something on Friday night. So. But 4, 3, and 3. So this is the last weight class of the first day. John Stefanowicz, 82 kilograms, so about 180 pounds. And let's look at his draw. He again is in the top half. He again got a bye out of the round of 32, so he's in the round of 16. He's got Gobadezi from Georgia, who's medaled at a bunch of different age group things, but not a guy who's had like an impeccable track record at the senior level. So not a terrible match, but then he would have the winner of the #1 and #10 ranked guy in the world. So he feels like he's in a very similar situation to Bunker, right?
Where you know what, you got to get past that first match. That is the key, and then after that, take on whoever you face. And if he would happen to lose in the second match, he's got a good chance of following that guy through and getting back in the medal contention.
And one further round out in the repechage,
exactly.
too. Yeah. I mean, like, obviously we're rooting for 10 gold medals, but we're
Yep.
also realistic. I mean, if we can get as many guys to even just get to that 5th place match and qualify the weight class, that's huge growth for the Greco program.
For sure.
So one of the things, folks, if you guys are looking at these brackets, in America, we're used to balanced brackets, right? Like if there's 20 guys, they draw the 16, they put 2 pigtails in the top, 2 pigtails in the bottom, 1 in each quarter bracket. UWW doesn't do it that way. They do make sure that the number 1, 2, 3, and 4 seeds get a bye unless there's literally 32 guys. But they fill in, the bottom is filled, and then they just trickle up to the top. So it's a huge advantage to be in the top half of the bracket.
Less matches.
Not only less matches, right? But like I was talking with Justin Tritz earlier from Track Wrestling, what he was saying is literally your odds of making the finals on the top half are the same as making the semis in the bottom half, just because the number of good guys you could get drawn into. I did.
And at these weights, or at the World Championships, there's 10 guys on any given day that could win the world title.
That's right.
You know, I mean, you wrestle this tournament a week from now, it's probably going to be different.
Especially if it's redrawn different,
exactly.
Right? Yep. And so the least amount of guys you got to wrestle that are good, the better it is, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and you're a guy that has run the gauntlet. What did you tell me one year that the guys that were going to come through the repechage, you had a really easy tournament to one year, right?
In '95, when I won my world title, I wrestled 4 former world champions to become a world champion.
Okay, so I mean, it doesn't get much easier than that, Dennis. I mean, just all world champions straight through. Yeah. I mean, tell me a little bit about that mindset. Just like, I think a lot of us, first of all, very few of us were that good, but just to look at the bracket and go, oh my God, it's going to be world champ, world champ, world champ.
I mean, I had the guy that took second in the world championships first round, you know, and it was, and then second round I had a guy from Sweden, third round I had a world champ, 2-time world champ from Germany, fourth round world champion from Armenia, and fifth round the finals was Kazakhstan, world champ and Olympic champ.
That's crazy. Well, if you guys want to see some people make some runs like my man Dennis Hall here did, you need to go to trackwrestling.com, either get the $29.99 match package, the $49.99 package if you want a good deal, or the $99.99 package if you want the deal of the year.
Yep.
Use that code SCRAMBLE. We're here at the Track Wrestling Studio, Defense Soap, and we're going to let some of our sponsors get a word in here, and we'll be back right after that.
What's the difference between the good and the great? The champion and the runner-up? Both work hard. Both show up for practice. Both work for success. So what makes them different? Others just want success. The champion creates it. We don't beg for it. We don't ask for it. We don't wait for it. We create it. Create your own success.
If our mats could talk, they would speak of hand craftsmanship, innovation, and our tradition of excellence, of our patented zip connection, exclusive Digiprint technology, the reputation our mats are known for. If our mats could talk, they would speak of our history, of champions, and of you. 60 years of tradition, 60 years of success. Resolute, the Mat Company.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. So many great companies supporting what we're doing here so that you guys can see this, making the, helping grow the world of wrestling. So let's break down. If you're looking at your screen here, it's going to, your top left corner is mat 1, then mat 2, then bottom is, or mat A, mat B, then C, and the far bottom right is mat D. So what we're going to be doing is letting you guys know, as you can see, these guys are getting warmed up, ready to go. And the tournament's going to start, all 4 mats are going to start at 72 kilograms. And then the next on deck will be 72, and then 82, and then 82, and then they're going to circle back to 55. So the first couple rounds here, we're just going to watch some of these matches with you, maybe get into some of the stuff that, I'm going to pick Dennis's brain here. Try to get my thesis in Greco. So I had a couple years ago I did the junior dual finals and got Gary Mayhem did them with me, and it was awesome. There's a saying that Zach Dominguez said a little bit about Greco that I thought was interesting. Shout out Zach, I know you're watching. He talked a little bit about how in Greco the offense is behind you, and that in freestyle the offense is in front of you, and you've seen that there's a lot of the movements in Greco you have to go
360 degrees. Doesn't matter where it is, you got to attack it, whatever's there. So he's correct. A lot of backward throws and just using the guy's momentum if he's pushing, using it to throw him. So.
And he was talking about how a lot of guys that are in that freestyle mentality of like get you to the edge and push you out, then a really good Greco guy will just destroy you on that.
Yep.
Yeah. So, while we're doing this, maybe let's talk a little bit too about some of the differences, like, in the cautions and parterres, like, when you're explaining this to people, what do you think some of the main differences to point are to point out to people?
With Greco, a lot of it is head position. If the head's low, they'll call that guy for being passive more than the guy that's got his head up and chest in. So that's where passivities are tough, and it's tough. Sometimes, I think they call the wrong guy sometimes, but overall, it's all position.
And in a lot of cases, it's only one force